Well, hey, BP family, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to walk around the Oasis and check out a few of our projects outdoors. Please keep in mind that I am not a gardener. I am not a florist. I am just a guy with a shovel. And so let's check it out. I look forward to walking around the Oasis with you and sharing all these projects. All right, guys. So this is BucketPond's podcast episode number 8. And today we are walking around the Oasis. We're going to start right here with the future pit pond, P-I-T, pit. This is a large project I've been slowly working on, digging it out just a little bit every day. We are using the soil and substrate that we take in our other projects, such as our clay pathways and our slightly raised plant boxes. We'll look at them in the future, here in just a few minutes. But our substrate of our backyard here consists of a few different layers. We have the topsoil up here, which I am using all over the Oasis, mostly for our flowers and plants. The second layer is very sandy, and for right now I'm just kind of piling that up. But the third layer is a very nice, dense red or orange clay, and I'm using that to build our pathways around the Oasis. So this is going to be a pond eventually, a future pond. And it's a big project. I've been working on it a long time. No power tools, just a shovel. And I'm proud of that, if that makes sense. But we have a lot left to do out here. The goal is to eventually have a series of steps leading down into a nice pond. Now, I would love to use the groundwater here. This is our original exploratory excavation looking for the water table, which is the level of the water down in the ground. And we did eventually find it, about 6 feet deep, but that's a little too deep for us to dig here in our pit. I'd either have to go with a very steep wall or a very shallow slope, which would leave us with a very small body of water in the bottom, so that's no fun. But I did notice that in our original exploratory hole here, things have grown up around it, and it looks very much like a Mayan cenote or something. I think that's really cool, and I'd love to have a big pit like that right here, but I'm afraid of falling in there, and I don't want to have any frogs or animals get trapped, you know. So I'll most likely use a liner and just open up that pit a bit more. But here at the entrance of the Oasis, you can see some of the nice clay pathways, recently repaved. I hate stepping on my plants, you know, so these pathways are very important. Originally, I was using paving stones from a gardening supply store like Home Depot or something, but it turns out that we just don't need them. We have a nice clay substrate here, and we can just use that as our pathways. I'm expanding the paths over in this direction, clearing a lot of the plants that were overgrown, and we've discovered a few plants that we didn't even know that we had, which is really cool. For you, a longtime fans of the channel, you will recognize the Swamp Shack and this little area here, which is the original Oasis. It has expanded quite a bit. Oftentimes we joke about how this hobby is addictive, both of the jar aquariums and the outdoor nano ponds, and that's very true. You'll get addicted. You'll start to build more and more. The things have changed a bit out here in the Oasis, but our original area remains much the same. We still have some of our oldest bucket ponds here, both buried down into the dirt and sitting on top of the soil as well. Our giant reed is doing very nice new shoots right here, and it's going to spread more and more. Don't worry though, we keep it contained here in the Oasis. It cannot spread out of this area. Here we have a large container, which is actually meant to pick fruit. It's a fruit picking bushel container or something like that. But here I've turned it into a large outdoor terrarium. I don't show this much on the channel. I don't know how many people would be interested in it, but we have a ton of plants in here. No substrate, just leaves and things that have fallen in and broken down over time, as well as a few logs, a few boulders, and some bucket ponds. It's really cool to come out here and just have access to these extra like taro plants and these other items. I can just take a few. I can start a new patch at any time. I can give a few away to friends, things like that. It's really cool. This area is under construction, but we are building up some new areas for our flowers as well. That's all amaryllis right there, with a few more in-ground bucket ponds meant for insects and frogs. I love these projects, you guys, and every time I see nature like encouraging us, like a frog moving into a pond that I've built, it's very enlightening and it's a lot of fun. It makes me feel like I did something right. Here's some of those plants that I was talking about that we forgot that we had. So it seems about 4 years ago, I collected some unknown bulbs from a forgotten garden, and I planted them out here, and they got all overgrown, and we just never saw them again. They were just covered by rattlesnake weed and all sorts of other plants. We'll look at them again in a moment. I think I have a good idea of what they are. But in this area, we have built up a nice little meadow. You may remember me talking about the BucketPond's meadow out here in the Oasis eventually. It turns out the plants I wanted to use didn't work out so well, but the plants that we have that we work with naturally have done great. So I consider this to be a success. We have some nice purple spiderwort here. It's either Virginia or Ohio spiderwort. The distinction isn't very important to me. Over here, next to the meadow, we have some very nice canna lilies, which are growing as emergent plants out of a few bucket ponds in the ground here. Last year, we had a big problem with leaf spinner insects that would damage the leaves of the canna lilies, and I had to eventually search for a way to stop them without using pesticide. Luckily, we found someone called the Red Earth Gardener, I believe was the name of their channel. This very nice lady based out of Central Africa, I believe, judging by her accent. But she had the great idea of just cutting down the lilies, allowing them to regrow, and preventing the leaf spinners from, forming a habitat in the canna lilies. Very simple and useful advice. It took a few months, but it worked, and they've grown back, and now we have no problems. Returning back over in this direction near the entrance of the oasis, you'll see quite a few more of those unknown plants. They're a little beat up because I did have to dig them up and transplant them, but that's okay. They're doing fine. In fact, they are hosting quite a few green tree frogs, and they seem to enjoy the leaf structure here and the way that it holds water, so that's really cool. I do believe these are either swamp lilies or river lilies. We'll have to wait until we get a flower and a bit of new growth for proper identification. But here we are back with our spiderwort and our little meadow area. We're using rattlesnake weed here, spiderwort, and water taro, along with some hypnum moss to build a nice little grassy planted area for anoles and skinks. Here in pool pond number one, it might look a little crazy, but it's a natural pond. This is how they will look. There's duckweed, water lilies, some alligator weed, probably some wooddelia in here, as well as some water taro. I've harvested, so many plants out of this project. It's really cool. It's a bit like a farm tank, and the term I used to use for one of our old aquariums. And we have some giant reed cuttings trying to steal the show. But these plant pots here next to the pool pond on the opposite side of the pathway, I've added some canna lilies over here as well that we had to move. Some dragon's head lilies that we also had to relocate. I love these. I've been babysitting these for years now, and it was time to spread them over here a little bit. We also have our rain lilies. I've only had a few of these, and you guys might recognize them from some of the community posts recently. These were given to us by nature. A bird or some other animal dropped some seeds near the oasis, and they became part of our collection. It's really cool. And just recently, we brought them over to our new planters in this spot here. These raised planters are only raised by a few inches, but I've made them by literally hammering planks down into the ground. No nails, no support, nothing like that. All natural, untreated pine from some old pallets. We also have some moonflower here, and I think spider plants. I'm not sure what the final ones are. We still haven't ID'd them yet. But we did build a nice pallet fence perimeter around the oasis, totally free of charge. They were meant to be destroyed, and I just love to recycle, reuse, recycle whenever possible. That's what we do here at Bucket Ponds. I'm loving our pathways, though. I know everything looks a bit wild, and that's fine. And that's kind of what I want. I'm not out here trying to grow corn in perfect little rows and some fake artificial ecosystem. No, I want to support what wants to be here. This old tree here was actually knocked down and nearly killed by Hurricane Adalia but we dug up what we could and brought it over here and planted it within the oasis last year. There's a little bit of new growth on there, and I'm confident that it will survive and start to grow. I look forward to 10 years from now saying like, oh, there's the tree that we transplanted, the tree that we saved. That's really cool. But we have 3 pool ponds out here. Number 2's off in the distance, and number 3 is way over there. Over here next to number 1, we do have those giant reed cuttings. And just to give you an idea, this is the same plant. This is the exact same plant. These on the left are cuttings. They are stem cuttings that I managed to get to take root. And they grow. They're skinny and fragile, but they do grow. And it's a bit like bamboo. In fact, I was able to predict just a few days before this big shoot popped out. I told my wife, these have been out here for about 3 years. They're ready to start a new shoot. And yeah, lo and behold, within 2 days, I was right. These little shoots popped up, and now they are going. They'll be 20 foot tall or 16 feet tall in the near future. A lot of people hate giant reed, especially in California, and they spend millions to eradicate it. But that very same government spent millions to plant it there as a way to control irrigation and erosion. So, yeah, the government has no idea what it's doing on a general basis. Things they invest in right now, they prove to be wrong in the future. In fact, there are scientists at this very moment looking to improve giant reed to make it more durable, to make it grow faster, and to use it as an energy source for biofuel. So, on one hand, people hate it. On the other hand, people love it. It's really cool. You may see some common weeds out here, quotation marks, and that's fine. I have no problem with them as long as they're not directly poisonous or harming my other plants. I will generally allow weeds to grow. In fact, that's how we have acquired some of our coolest plants, is just by watching what happens. This area I will eventually turn into a different setup. I have some more spiderwort here. Every spiderwort plant that you see in the oasis I have planted by hand and collected from various places like the side of the road, in ditch banks and stuff, and in my backyard. But this whole area here, I am working on changing and improving. Lots to do, big plans. We have a little orange tree here, which is not struggling, but it could be doing better. And here we have our amaryllis. These are descendants of our first 3 amaryllis bulbs that we found in an old forgotten garden, and they are growing very nicely. I love amaryllis, these big red flowers. We even found a few in our yard that were apparently some type of hybrid that had a stripe, pink stripe going through the flower. We have one of those here in the corner. Hopefully it will flower this year for us so we can see it again. But these amaryllis are very interesting, and they are descended from some bulbs that I found one day. My old job, I did a lot of mowing yards, and in this area, there's old gardens and old house, what would you say, homesteads, yeah, from like who knows how long ago, where they planted flowers and stuff, and we collected some of them after they were long forgotten, with permission from the landowners, of course. But these are amaryllis seedlings that I'm growing here. They say that you should not grow amaryllis from seed, as it can take about 2 years before you get some flowers. But I did this for a very particular reason. Growing amaryllis from bulbs, dividing the bulbs, it will give you the very same plant. It will clone the plant. Those red flowers, you'll have them again. And that's really cool. I'm doing that as well. But growing from seeds, you can have a few different options that might appear. I'm trying to hybridize them with some rain lilies, so some of those seeds may be orange or pink, which would be really cool. And there's a good chance that they might have hybridized on their own, just from actions from bees and pollinators and stuff. And there's a good chance that those amaryllis plants are actually hybrids already, as is common with a lot of ornamental flower plants. Some florists somewhere crossed some plants to make something cool. But when you grow them from seeds, you can kind of undo that hybridization just a little bit. Imagine breeding a Dalmatian to a German Shepherd. You're going to get like a weird mixed breed. But then if that Dalmatian breeds with another, then you'll get something that looks much more like the original parent. And that's kind of what happens with the amaryllis. It can pollinate itself in a way. And yeah, you have the option of getting a plant that may be very much like the original lineage. So our seeds there, they could be 2 or 3 different types of amaryllis that may grow. And forgive me, some of the explanations for hybridization, genetic studies, and science, it's a bit beyond me, but I know enough working knowledge to function and to make some things happen. Over here, we have a lot of our pepper leaf we were just looking at, and I'm going to expand the pathways out here over time. This is pool pond number 2. It looks great. Very dense foliage in here. Our water lilies are thriving. In fact, I need to split them again. That is a clone or a division from pool pond number 1. Also, our sedge plants are like 5 feet tall now, and that's great. Um, Very nice, spiky plants. I'm so in love with these pool ponds, you guys. Like, each one is different, and we build one every year, but they're so interesting, so intriguing. And birds will come here, rabbits, skunks, possums, all sorts of animals will come here to drink. Frogs, of course. These bulbs here are actually going to turn into very nice white flowers coming from the lily pads. Yeah, I'm still learning about exactly what plants may be viable to cross. They have to be in the same genus, generally in the same family. But I'm having fun, learning about all this stuff. We're going to take a look at some more of our common weeds that I should probably cut down, but I don't care. They're not hurting anything. We have our original bucket pond patch over here. We still run several bucket ponds. You guys seem to be very interested in them. Originally, we built our bucket ponds to grow duckweed. We took an online class about how to grow duckweed, and the guy pulled out a 5-gallon bucket, said, "This is all you need." And that was the birth of bucket ponds. But we still run those, and for different reasons. Sometimes I like to isolate certain plants or samples and just have them on hand. I have some aloe out here as well, which has made a very interesting flower structure. I did not know that aloe would flower at all. Very interested in that. It's a little beat up, but it's doing well. And we have some little baby aloe plants that I split off of that one as well in the area, just to be very careful not to step on them. I feel so horrible if I step on one of my plants. We're going to look at pool pond number 3 now. You guys have not seen number 3. The build video is in progress. This is the sneak peek, if you will. Just going to take a look at it. Don't mind my old water hose here. But this is pool pond number 3, which I have set up a bit like a polydarium, inspired by our recent polydarium builds. We have a rock wall in the center with some soil on the backside. The water took a long time to clear up from the debris and sediment inside, but it has. And now we have a bit of a green water situation, which on camera looks really nice, but I will probably have to correct that with some more plants in the water portion of the pond. But over there on the land side, I planted purple spiderwort and small leaf spiderwort, which is the same little plant that we discovered in our How to Find Dayflower video. And I'm hoping to hybridize them as well. Yeah, plans for the future, you guys. We have a little giant reed cutting here. It's going to be another year or two before these guys get to form the big stalks. I've said this before, but it's a bit like bamboo. The first year that you plant a cutting, it sleeps. It doesn't seem to do much at all. The second year, it creeps. It forms roots and it gets a little taller. And then in the third year, it leaps. It grows these giant, huge stalks, and it starts to grow and become what it's really meant to be. Over here on the perimeter of pool pond number 2, I have added some more plants. I've built some more planters using our old paving stones that we talked about. And this is all spiderwort, Virginia or Ohio spiderwort. I planted these on the left a few months ago, and I planted the ones on the right about a year ago. You can see the difference in size. But I've fallen in love with this purple spiderwort, you guys. I don't care if it's common, if it's easy to find, like that's a bonus. That's a good thing to me. I don't want some exotic Amazonian plant out here. I want what, is naturally in the area or has been naturalized at this point. But the spiderwort is so tough, it can survive the winter weather here. You can dig up a clump of it and just throw it somewhere, and it'll grow. It'll come right back to life. It does not care. You don't even have to plant it. I've quite literally thrown it into piles and watched it grow. But over here in our raised planter, we have some more amaryllis seedlings, as well as some grass and some other small plants. I was building this as a test to see if it would work. Ants got into that side really bad, but it's a decent idea. It seems to work. Our little raised planter. On this side of the pit pond, I'm going to build like a, I don't know, maybe an incline leading up towards the pallet fence. I'm not sure yet. A lot of my plants are highly variable and flexible. So sometimes we have an idea and we tinker with it a bit, and maybe it just won't work. So we change our idea. We come up with something new. Here we have our trash can pond, which I hate that name. Some rattlesnake weed flowers here. But when I built this and in the update video of this trash can pond, I mistakenly referred to it as a 33 gallon. It's actually 18 gallons. There's a picture of our small leaf spiderwort right there. And those little white flowers, they look very similar to the purple spiderwort, but the plant itself grows in a much different way, much more like our dayflower. So, guys, this is the podcast episode, and I am doing a video portion. It's mainly what we're talking about. I hope that's okay with you guys. In the future, the upcoming podcast episodes, I may very well stick to audio only and do it like a real podcast, I like to listen to stuff like this at work, or, on my lunch break or whatever. While I'm, doing stuff out in the Oasis, I like to listen to audio and I don't really watch video. So I'm thinking that a few of you guys might as well. There's some spiderwort that I threw in a pile and it has rooted, just like I had told you. But yeah, in the future, we might switch to just pure audio only. This will probably be the last video portion of the podcast. I'm still looking at it. It's that, or I'll be sitting in the swamp shack and just talking to you from, that point of view. That might be okay too. Still building up plans for the future for season 2. I have a few friends I would like to, cooperate with and to network with a little bit on YouTube. The Solar Aquarium, Phillips Fish Works, Psycho Plant Lady. I'd love to do an interview with you guys or just talk with you for a little while. Uh, our podcast episodes are only about 20 minutes long generally. But that would be really fun. I would wait till we're just a bit more professional, a bit more skilled at this. Making a podcast is quite a bit different than building a nano aquarium, for instance. But I'm having a lot of fun, you guys. We have become full YouTube partners, which I guess a lot of channels don't really talk about. They don't really want to talk about their numbers and stuff, which is weird to me. I want to talk about that stuff all day. But very, very big thank you, guys. I am very grateful. The Oasis looks amazing, and I am so excited. I couldn't have asked for anything better. It's not perfect, but neither am I. And that's fine. We grow and we learn and we do better every day. That's all we can hope for. Don't try to reach for perfection. Just do things your own way. Just do what you can. Learn a little bit from every bit of experience that you gain. Look for knowledge from other obscure sources. Maybe you'll watch a video about some guy who breeds guppies. Maybe you don't breed guppies, but maybe you can take notes from certain things that they do that, are useful to you in some other way. For you guys getting started on YouTube, I know I'm not very big yet. I'm not really in a place to give advice, but I still want to. I just want to say, be yourself, man. Don't be afraid. Don't be worried about making a mistake. Who cares? The audience is generally really cool and forgiving in this hobby, this niche of nano aquariums and small outdoor ponds. We're all very tight knit and very forgiving, very friendly. You'd be surprised. So don't be so worried. Don't be so shy. Get out there and make a video. Don't be afraid to, speak up in the video. Say hello. We will eat it up. I'm your fan. I'm one of these people too. I watch these videos and I just love to participate. And it's a lot of fun, you guys. So big thank you to our patronage, our Patreon members, Clay Wise, Swan C, Jay, Jeff Kiesner, Ashley Danielle, Jess, Kev Wheeler, and Wheelbite. Thank you so much, you guys. You can join Patreon for free, or you can donate any amount. Even $1 helps. I'll be doing the monthly drawings for Patreon very soon to send out a free t-shirt to one lucky winner every month. That's going to start in a month or two. I'm just gaining a little bit of funds and getting ready, getting some t-shirts printed. USA residents only for that drawing. And I don't know, I'll put the drawings on the Facebook page or something, just so you can see. It's totally random, however we can do it. But big thank you. Thank you to our YouTube members as well. Clay-wise, wheel bite. Thank you for supporting us on both platforms, you guys. You're amazing. I'll have more videos up soon. For now, have a great day, and I'm going to go work on pool pond number 3.